Hey folks, Kilt-Man here. Kilt-Man at your services. How are you all? Hope you're all doing very, very well. Now, before we get started, a bit of housekeeping. The cat is on the rampage at the moment. She has been. You see all the things I set up painstakingly behind me here for the backdrop for this video? It's knocked every single one of them over so far. It's been nibbling on the wig that Kentucky Fudge is sporting. So we've just sort of shunted her out the room. But she'll be back, causing bedlam and mayhem and chaos, not necessarily in that order. So just be prepared for something leaping around behind me, knocking things flying. So, to combat my nerves on that, because here she is right now. Cheers, y'all. And as that rather laconic but iconic main theme now suggests, we're going to delve back into the vaults of the Hammer House of Horror, the TV show from 1980, which threatened and tried valiantly to bring the ailing Hammer House of Horror film studio out from the grave. It had died a death in the mid-70s. It limped on for a bit. Then we got this TV show. And then we got another TV show, Hammer House of Mystery and Suspense, which I really can't remember anything of at all. It can't have been anywhere near as good as this show. And this is much loved, fondly remembered and cherished. And I've reviewed, I think, 2 episodes, maybe 3 of it already. Children of the Full Moon I did years ago. It's my favourite, the werewolf one, hence the presence of werewolfery here. And the 13th reunion I did, I think, last week. So I might do a few more, but this one is the 3rd episode, hailing from September 27th, 1980. Rude Awakening, starring Denholm Elliott, the great Denholm Elliott. Denholm Elliott, Marcus Brody from the Indiana Jones movies, Lieutenant Colonel Pauline from Zulu Dawn. He's in Brimstone and Treacle. He's in this, that, and the other. A major star of British TV and British stage. Very theatrical actor as well. And movies, obviously. And a well-known face and a very versatile actor. And you've got him playing Norman Shenley, Mr. Shenley, an estate agent, and a leprous old git he is too. He's got a lovely assistant called Lolly Fellows, played by Lucy Gutteridge. Is it Lucy? Lucy Gutteridge, yeah. Who is very, very attractive. And isn't it the thing about, especially in the 60s and 70s of British TV and movies, it would be a much older guy that was chasing after the young floozy, but he'd always get them as well. He'd be in his blazer, his moustache twirling, and gropage was allowed back in those days. But it was always the thing, it was a much older guy with a younger girl who was really fit. So it was the Benny Hill and Carry On movies ethos of, relationships, none of which is realistic at all. But he's carrying on with her. He's got in a little village, a little town, he's got his estate agent. And we start off with a bit of gropage. Hello, Lolly. Hello, Mr. Shenley. Oh, come on now, don't forget our arrangement. Sorry, Norman, she says. And she's very sultry and attractive and very perky. And they get a visitor straight away. Just when he's groping her boobage, the door opens, the doorbell jingle jangle, and Mr. Rayburn comes in. Not Ray Byrne, it's Mr. Rayburn, that's his surname. Played by James, oh God, I always forget his name, James Laurenson, who we'll talk more about. And he's the vendor, he's the executor for the estate of someone who's gone missing. But they've been missing for so long, they've been declared dead. So I'm in charge. Oh, so you want to sell the place then, this country abode, this mansion house. So he's like, well, yes, just go over, have a look at it, see what you think of it. Here's the keys, and I'll draw you a map how to get there. I'll draw you a map. Don't forget, you didn't have Google Maps back in those days. So he draws him a little pencil map on a bit of paper. There you go, have a look, see what you think. And off he goes. And he's like, well, Lolly, we could get a bit of lolly out of this. And she goes, well, but Norman, you didn't get his name, you didn't get his phone number. And he went, oh, it's true, I didn't, did I? Oh, but it's important, he'll get back in touch with us. I'll take a trip out there and check out this old gaff. So he does. Drives out there, and I forgot what the name of the place is. It's got a really ominous sounding name, and of course I didn't write it down in my notes, and I have completely forgotten it. It's like Old Lower Moat or something like that. I don't know. Something like that anyway. And the house itself is Hampton House, which you see a lot in the Hammer House of Horror TV show, because that was the headquarters for Hammer at the time, and Chips being the production company alongside Hammer. And you see it in many episodes, either the front of it, some of the interiors, some of the gardens, some of the walls. The cat. You guessed that right. That was the cat. Bloody feline. It's women. You can't trust women, can you? Cheers, you all. The opening title to the Hammer House of Horror TV show features the day for night sort of silhouetted shots of a ghostly old mansion with gargoyles and things. Well, that is Hampton House, their headquarters. So anyway, he goes out there and it's all decrepit. It's all vines all over the place. And he's been given 2 keys, and they're big old iron, jailer's keys, massive bloody things. And he tries one, not happening. Oh God. Tries the other one, not happening at all. Denholm Elliott, he's like, what am I going to do? Where's Indiana Jones when you need him? And suddenly the door swings open. Oh, that's handy. In he goes, and it's covered in cobwebs and dust. It's deserted. It's a decrepit old hovel. And as he's having a look around, there's 2 suits of armour standing ominously either side of him. And he sees one of those old sort of earphone things, an old sort of Victorian, maybe even Edwardian form of intercom hooked to a wall on a hose. And he blows the dust out of it. Hello, hello, hello. Puts it back, laughing to himself. And then suddenly a voice comes back up saying, "You shouldn't have done it, Mr. Shenley. You shouldn't have killed your wife." He's like, "What? Who's there?" "You shouldn't have done it." I didn't do it. "You killed your wife on Friday the 13th. And he's like, "But this is Friday the 13th. This today, and we had breakfast before. I haven't killed her." And then you hear like the dumb waiter, which is right beside this, this tooting earphone thing, coming up like, and as he's watching, the door, it arrives at their floor, the door opens and a body falls out. And who is it? It's Emily, his wife, lying there, deaded. And as he's like, the 2 suits of armour come towards him and put gauntleted hands on his shoulders. And he wakes up in bed. It's just a dream. It's a nightmare. And there's Emily lying next to him. Emily is played by Pat Heywood. My memory's terrible these days, folks. You have to appreciate that. I'm getting older and I've drunk a lot of whiskey. And so I used to remember everyone's name, and I could reel off a lot of their credits in the past, TV shows and theatrical productions and movies. Now I have to refer to notes. Unashamedly, I admit that. So Pat Heywood plays Emily Shenley. Now, Pat Heywood, again, 60s, 70s and into the 80s. If you watch British TV, you knew her. She was in everything. Crime dramas, comedies, movies, theatrical productions. She was everywhere. On every channel at once, you'd see a programme and she would be in it, playing a maid or a witness to something. So, and she's lovely as well. And she's Emily, his wife, his long-suffering wife. I said, "Norman, what happened?" I was having a dream. It was so vivid. I went to this house and I was attacked. There was a dumb waiter and a body fell out of it. And she goes, "Whose body was it then?" Because she knows he's been having an affair. And it isn't just the first affair. It gets inferred that he's been dallying around with numerous other assistants and secretaries. And he goes, "Oh, shut up, what time is it?" "It's 5:30. "Oh, well, now I'm awake. I may as well get up, have my breakfast and have an early start in the office." And then Emily realises, she goes, "What time does she get in?" "Oh, shut up. Why don't you just give me a divorce?" And she's like, "Why do you want a divorce then? Why do you want a divorce?" And off he goes. And he goes back to the office And there's Lolly. Now, Lolly looks different. Every time you see Lolly in this, she's a different, same girl, but different accent she puts on and different look. And this time, she's like a punkette, a late 70s punkette. She's got like tufty, spiky hair, short, and it's all like reds and blues and purples. She's got all leather gear on and all this, like, still super sexy. And he comes in, he goes like, "Do you look a bit different?" "Yeah, do I, Norman?" And it's like, "Well, yeah, I had this strange dream about a house. I went to see a house, but it seemed so realistic. Did I go to see a house yesterday or the day before? Did I go and see a house?" And she's like, "Well, I don't remember." And he goes, "Well, I've got the very address that I can't remember." He goes, "I know where it is. I've got a map. The guy gave me a map to get to it." And he puts it down in his pocket and he pulls out the map and it's still there. He goes, "I think I should go out and just check this again. Something's not right here. So I'll go and check this. I know the cat's sleeping around behind me. Prepare for more clattering. Get off that hat. Leave the werewolf alone. Look at her. Look at her. Oh, you scene stealer, you. Let's see how much you enjoy stealing the scene with my boot up your arse." Anyway, so it's about to leave and she goes, "Norman, if it was a dream, how come you got the map in your pocket?" And he's going, "Yeah, you're right. I best get going." So off he goes again. Now, this time he drives out there and there's fields full of cows, lots of mud everywhere. And the little turn off, there's no house, there's no trail, there's no track, no roadway to this big estate. Not there. So he's like, "What the hell?" He still remembers the dream vividly. So he gets out the car, because there's one of those old little red phone boxes. Remember those things? Red phone boxes. Yeah. Goes into that. And I think he phones Lolly. So like, "There's no house here." And he said, "Well, I don't know what's going on. Something strange happening." And he looks at the map again. But when he turns the map over, it says, it's written on the back of it, "You shouldn't have done it." And it's like, what the hell? And I think a voice on the phone, I think he hangs up and then the phone rings and he's, "Hello." And he says like, "You shouldn't have done it, Mr. Shenley. You shouldn't have killed your wife." He's like, "What?" Puts the phone down again. And then smoke begins to billow inside the phone booth. And he starts coughing and choking and he can't get out. He's banging on the doors and trying to get out. And in this scene, a lot of this reminds me of the fabulous Theatre of Blood with Vincent Price. And, well, I've reviewed that movie quite spectacularly, quite in-depth, big epic, big review. And a lot of scenes in that have hoi polloi sort of elite snobs being lured into death traps, and the people who are committing all the horrendous murders are, well, led by Vincent Price. Spoiler alert. But they're all down and out. They may dress up and that, but you know that they're the dregs, they're gutter level, they're cellar dwellers. And this tramp comes past him and smoke's filling the air, the phone booth, and he's like, help me. And the tramp stops, picks something up on the grass verge and just looks at him and grins and then walks off. And it's Ray Byrne. It's a different look, different hair, dishevelled, clothes, but it's Ray Byrne's face, James Laurenson. And off he shambles, and of course Denholm Elliott's like, "Help me!" And another car pulls up and it's Lolly looking different again in a shiny black Mac and a beret on. And she calmly opens the door. "Norman, what's the matter then?" And he goes, "Oh, Lolly, it's so good to see you." And it's good for all of us to see it, to be honest. And especially in this scene, because they start snogging, and they're making really horrible. It's Denholm Elliott going. It's pure Sid James stuff like that. And then she actually takes off her shiny black Mac to reveal she's nude underneath, and in a rare sequence in this is we see nipples, I tell you. And you're like, yes, nipples, wow, freeze the frame. RSI coming next, and she is lovely. And they start making out in the phone booth, which of course, it's all a dream again, a dream within a dream. And he wakes up, as Emily, poor Emily again. She's like, wake up, Norman, who are you talking to? I love you, and all this. You're making all these kissy noises. And he's like, oh, fucking hell, what's going on here? Oh, well, I don't know. Who was it this time? Was it air? You know, and he's like, oh, shut up. Just give me a divorce, will you? And she's like, well, why do you want a divorce? I'll go and make breakfast then, shall I? Divorce. And he's like, but I don't get this. Anyway, so it goes back to the office, and of course, Lolly's different again. I think in this scene, Lolly is now a schoolgirl. It's funny how back in the day, you know, again, 60s, 70s, it was very fashionable in comedies like Benny Hill and that, and the Carry On movies, to have very voluptuous, fit women dressed as schoolgirls. I don't think you're going to see that kind of thing again in today's age, but you did back then. And she's there in, you know, a little grey skirt and like socks pulled up and all this, but she's doing a lot of sucking of her own finger, and she's got hair in pigtails and a straw boater as well, like. And he's like, Lolly, you know, this dream, it keeps happening. And you know, listen, Norman, if you're going to go out to that house again, that house that doesn't exist, don't forget, we've got a date tonight. And he's like, oh yes, of course. You fancy dinner then, do you, Lolly? Oh, I do, Norman, I do. What are you going to tell your wife then? And he goes, oh, I'll sort that out. Just get her on the blower, would you? So she does. And you see poor old Emily picks up the phone and knows who it is. It's like, oh, Emily, I've got Mr. Shenley on the line for you. And he picks it up and she goes, don't tell me. You've got to work late tonight. You're going to a house viewing, you know, at night time. And he goes, how did you guess that? Oh, maybe I'm psychic then. And you know, tell me, do you ever sell any of these houses at all? And he's like, well, yeah, of course I do. Anyway, listen, I'm going to be late. All right, just hangs up it. And he goes, bitch. And of course, Lolly's going there. Well done, Norman. Well done. More of the same, please. Yeah, don't worry. I'm going to get a divorce, and then I can be free to marry you. As if, mate, as if. So he goes out to the bloody house again, doesn't he? And this time the house does exist. It's not decrepit. It's all looking lovely. A maid answers the door, and he says, like, well, you know, I'm supposed to be selling this place. Well, Mrs. Strudwick lives here. Oh, well, just give her my card, will you? And see if she'll see me. And he goes in to see her. And in a nice sort of provocative shot, looking down from a crystal chandelier, you've got someone who's obviously cleaning the chandelier. You can't see them, you see their hands and they're doing all the glass work and all that. And you see Denholm Elliott walk along the hall. And he goes, oh, that looks like busy work or something like that. And this voice just goes, yes, it is, sir. And you know, that's the Ray Byrne character again. That's this guy who was a tramp, a guy selling the place. That's him again. And he goes into it, the big parlour, the big lounge, the big sitting room. And there's this Mrs. Strudwick, played by Eleanor Summerfield. Sorry, Lady Strudwick. Eleanor Summerfield. Again, another person whose face and voice you will all recognise from British TV during this particular era. And probably movies a lot earlier than that. And this sort of landed gentry sort of woman. Oh, Mr. Shenley. They all say like this, Mr. Shenley. But she's got a really sort of lilt to it, a playful sort of lilt. Mr. Shenley. He said, oh, if you don't mind me coming in. You will take tea, won't you, Mr. Shenley? Milk and sugar. No sugar. He said, you come to look at the house? And he said, well, yeah, I've been, you know, requested to look the place over and try to sell it. Are you in the market to sell the place? She said, well, it is very old and all this thing. And she gives it loads. And he said, but Miss Lady Strudwick, I've got to tell you something. I've dreamt about this place a couple of times already. And she goes, oh, dreams. Oh, do tell me, Mr. Shenley. So he does, he tells her. she's like, oh wow. And they've got a great big sort of Welsh dresser. It's not like a guy from Wales who likes to dress up. It's a great big sort of sideboard thing with shelves and a big chest of drawers underneath. We've got one upstairs. It's huge Leviathan thing. I've wanted to move it for many, many years, but it's too big to move. I know it begs the question, how did we get it up there in the first place? Well, I'll never tell. You wouldn't believe how we did it. He said, have you got a dumb waiter? She goes, oh, I don't think so, Mr. Shenley. He said, it was behind, that dresser over there. It was behind that. She goes, do you mind if I move that? She goes, oh, I don't know. I don't mind, Mr. Shenley. It was all very mysterious. And she's loving all this. The dreams and the whole, sort of recurring visit. And he pushes it to one side. He starts knocking. Dum, 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 dum. And he goes, dum. I should have done that right. Dum, 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 bop, 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 bop. He goes, it's hollow there. And she goes, well, there was a servant girl, Mr. Shenley, who got walled up many years ago. Maybe the body you saw was hers. He's like, well, I don't know. And she comes, would you like a cigarette, Mr. Shenley? And a sort of like, a cigarette box comes out, one of them big, lovely ornate box things. And there's all different types of cigars in there. And as that opens, you hear the voice, you know what's coming next. You shouldn't have done it, Mr. Shenley. You shouldn't have killed your wife. And he's like, well, that's the voice I heard. Oh, Mr. Shenley, did you kill your wife? You do realise we're all dead here, don't you? And he's like, what? And he tries to retreat out the room. Are you a ghost as well? I think I'm putting giving her dialogue she doesn't actually use there, but that's the insinuation. And as he sort of backs out the room into the hallway again, the guy that was fixing the chandelier puts a noose round Denholm Elliott's neck and then jumps off his ladder and starts to hoist him up to, hang him. He's like, and of course, who's that guy? Yeah, it's Max Factor. No, it's Rayburn, Mr. Rayburn, who's doing all this. And of course, when he wakes up this time, there's all bed sheets around his neck. He's like, and his wife's like, Emily's like, what are you doing? What's happening to you? He's like, oh, he's sweating like mad. Jesus Christ. I've had another dream. This one was a bloody nightmare. God. It's genius. It's just genius stuff. And Denholm Elliott pulls it off really well. But Pat Heywood, Emily, she's wonderful. It's like, again, he asked for a divorce, and she's like, no. Do you know what? I think I may have missed out another interlude. I may have jumped ahead there slightly. I have jumped ahead there slightly. Let's backtrack before the noose hanging bit. He goes back to the office, and after another dream, right? And there's Lolly dressed she's got a big blonde wig and curly blonde wig, and she's in ultra shiny red to the point of pink hot pants, and she looks amazing. It's pure 70s. I know it's filmed in 1980, but it's the 70s ethos. It's Hot Legs and Pans People from Top of the Pops. That's what it is. Or Legs and Co. from Legs and Co. and Pans People. All that 70s sort of disco shiny stuff. She's wearing that. And she goes, oh, don't forget today, we've got to go and view that apartment block. It's like, what apartment block? There's one to be looked at, what we can do to renovate it and all that. And there's one being knocked down, being demolished. So off, she goes, I can come with you. Oh yes, Lolly, maybe you can come with me. So off they go, and they go into the basement, the ground floor, and it says there's graffiti everywhere. There is some graffiti saying freedom for Scotland, and there's something above that that mentions England, but I can't remember what it says. But it's definitely Scotland and freedom are there. So hey, oh hi, freedom, And it's a real tenement block, deserted, and they get in there, and instead of caretaker, it says caretaker, and they knock on the hatch and all that, but no one comes out. He says, oh well, let's just go to the top. Best way of doing these things is to work from the top down to the bottom, but he means like from the top to the bottom. Hey lolly, So they find the elevator, the lift, and she goes, oh, I've never done it in the lift before. And he's like, and a bit of a clinch, but the lift just suddenly stops. So, I have to walk the rest of the way. So off they go. Get up on the roof and he's going, it's loose tiling here, some felt loose, whatever he says, like, make notes of all this, blah, 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 blah. And she looks through the railings at the top of this tenement, this deserted tenement, and she goes, Norman? And he's like, yes. He said, I don't like the look of that. And he looks over and they've got one of them, the wrecking ball, it's swinging there, like, and it's all the wet crew and all that. And he goes, well, that's not for this building, that's be for that one over there. And she goes, well, what building are we meant to be in? And he says like a block A or something like that. And she goes, it says here block B. Block A's for to be demolished. He's like, oh dear God. So he starts shouting, but of course no one hears. And the big wrecking ball starts hitting the walls. Right, let's get back in. They're running down the stairs and all this, like, and then she goes to where the elevator is. She hits the button and she runs into the where the elevator should be, the lift should be. Plummets straight down. And he's like, Lolly! But the whole building was coming down around his ears, so he's legging it down the stairs. It's very similar, this sequence, to the pilot episode, the finale of the pilot episode to Starsky and Hutch, where you've got Starsky legging it down the stairs, trying to catch up with an elevator going down with the bad guys in it. And he's plummeting around this thing. There's probably a few shots doubled up, like, of Denholm Elliott's feet running down the steps and all that, and loads of pebbles and bits of concrete coming down. But he gets out. He gets out of it into the street, and who's driving the big wrecking ball? It's Lolly. Yeah, and she's like, Norman. Actually, forget what she says now. He's like, what are you doing here? Oh, I was right first time round. This sequence does come after what I just said about when he's been strangled and on the noose. This sequence does come afterwards. I should trust my judgment more. I was right in continuity first time round. But she goes, she's going, we had an appointment here, remember? An appointment. He's like, what? And he wakes up and he hears the word, an appointment, make an appointment, an appointment. And he like wakes up with a jolt, sweating again, like. And Emily's out of the bedroom, and a hideous bedroom it is too. Oh God, it's awful. So tacky, you wouldn't believe. This stupid fairy headboard, big triangular pink fairy headboard behind them. What the hell's that about? My cat would love that, obviously. She'd tear that down. You'd wake up smothered in all this pink fur. There's a few jokes I can make about that, but they would be part of the Benny Hill era of comedy. So I won't make them. Cheers, y'all. Cheers, Benny. And so Emily's on the phone, making an appointment for the doctor, for him. She was like, he's having these terrible dreams and I think there's something wrong. So he hears an appointment, which was in his dream, appointments. So anyway, he wakes up, he fakes being asleep again. And she goes in, she was like, wakes him up, he's like, oh God. She was like, I've made an appointment with Dr. Medley or whatever his name is, like, I think you should go. He was like, oh God, all right. If you'll get a divorce out of it, we'll go. She's like, oh, are you in this divorce thing, Norman? But they do go to the doctor, and they're sitting there, and you've obviously jumped ahead a bit here, because he's got the brain scan and all this. And he goes like, well, as you can see here, this dark mass here on the frontal lobe, that's a huge bloody malignant tumour you've got there, Norman. We must operate immediately. And he's like, and Norman's like, oh, just, if you'll speed things up, let's just fucking do it now, for Christ's sake. And then can I get a divorce, you know? So next thing you see, his head's shaved and he's on the operating table. And there's 3 surgeons there, all in the gowns and the face masks and all that. And they have done a tiny wee bit of gore, a little incision, you know, around here. We're going to go in here. And then suddenly one of the nurses just goes like, one of the threesome, the trio in the operating theatre, goes like, his heart's irregular beat. And he's wide awake. But they don't seem to see that he's wide awake. Wide awake. We all know he's not wide awake. It's another fucking dream. You know, it's all dreams within dreams within dreams. And she was like, no, his heart stopped. And they go, oh, right, death at whatever time. Oh, poor bugger. Like, let's put him in the cupboard. And he's like, his eyes are roving around and all that, like, and they shove him in the the drawer, but before they shut it over, like he leans up and looks out, and they all take their masks off like that. And it is, of course, it's his wife. It's Lolly, and it's Mr. Rayburn as well, like, all there. He shouldn't have done it. He shouldn't have killed his wife. And he all grin horribly. And you think that's going to be the end. No chance of that. Because I reached for the whiskey there and didn't bring it up. Terrible gaff, that. I told you I'm getting forgetful in my old age. So he wakes up now from this, like, he's like, right, you bitch. You're behind all of this. Whatever his crazed warp, nervous breakdown is telling him. Gets a pillow and he suffocates it. Leans on it a bit. Make sure. Sits on it for a bit. You're dead now. And then off he goes. Bowler hat on, his briefcase. Actually, it doesn't carry much of the official sort of pencil neck stuff, bureaucratic stuff that you expect from this sort of era of people who've got power, like estate agents. And he waltzes in there, and he's been shopping. He's bought a gift for Lolly. Well, Lolly, we're free now. I can marry you. Blah 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 blah. And Lolly is completely different again. She's now very straight-laced, still beautiful, like, but her hair's very sort of boring, just brunette. Not much different from this, to be honest. No, it's a lot better than this. And but very sort of conservative sort of dress suit thing she's wearing. She's like, Mr. Shenley, what do you mean? What? We're free now. She's gone. It's all over. You and me can be together now. I bought you this. And she opens it up and it's a massive diamond necklace thing, a huge ornate thing. He's like, well, Mr. Shenley, and he touches it. She's like, I think this is a bit inappropriate. I say, Lolly, what's wrong? Door opens, jingly bell and all that, like, in comes Mr. Rayburn. It's Rayburn again. Not alone. He's got an accomplice this time, an associate, a colleague. And he says, like, of course, these two are like close again. Like the first time we saw him, he was groping her boobies, and a smirk on Rayburn's face. Like, anyway, he's like, Mr. Shenley, and he's like, oh, yes, what can I do for you? Right, well, it's a bit awkward. This, we've just found your wife has been murdered, and we think you did it. Again, I'm mangling the actual dialogue that they do use, but basically, like, you killed your wife. And he's like, of course now he thinks, oh, it's another bloody dream, isn't it? So he's laughing. He's like, oh, don't listen to this, Lolly. Oh, yeah. My wife's perfectly fine. Well, how did you find it and all that? Well, her sister called round and found her lying suffocated in the bed. And he's like, well, she hasn't got... This is a weird thing. He says, oh, she hasn't got a sister. Which doesn't make any sense because, as we're going to find out, this bit's not a dream. This is real. So she must really have a sister then. Anyway, but he says she hasn't got a sister. And he said, no, you shouldn't have done it, Mr. Shenley. You shouldn't have killed your wife. And he's like, well, listen, this is all dreams. And like, I was told that I killed her on Friday the 13th. Now that was days ago. Now of course, in the dream cycle, that was days ago. And like, they look at him and they go like, oh no, they look at the Lolly and she goes, well, but Mr. Shenley, today is Friday the 13th. And he begins to like, oh, hang on a minute. And in a really bizarre moment, and I want you to say, if you look at it, watch this sequence, because suddenly, Denholm Elliott transforms into William Shatner. I watched this bit, I went, oh my God, several times over. There's a moment, he's like, he begins to like really think, and he's overacting with his face, a bit like the Shat would do. And he moves from like the desk to another part of the room, and he's trying. It's William Shatner's face. Denholm Elliott looks like William Shatner, and yet he doesn't any other time, but he does in that sequence. Little bit of trivia for you there. Shape shifting, and it's like, no, Well, yeah, this morning, well, she did fall out of bed and she banged her head, and I didn't kill her. Just cock and bull. Right, Mr. Shenley, you're coming with us. Lolly, we're still going to get married, and all this, like. And he gets whisked off for murder. Out the door he goes, and Rayburn, who's not, because he's a policeman, he's a detective superintendent, Rayburn. He says to Lolly, if you wouldn't mind coming down the station to make a statement, that'd be great. And he kind of smiles at it in that lecherous sort of way, and she kind of smiles back to him demurely, and he says this really weird thing. He goes like, "Because you know where I hang out." What, you mean the police station, or a pub, or what exactly do you mean? And he kind of leans down to it. You know where I hang out. What the hell? Are they trying to imply there's some kind of setup between them? I don't think so, but it just is a really strangely worded bit of dialogue. And then off he goes, and she's about to run out as well, and she comes back to the necklace and takes the necklace with her. Oh yeah, there's a phone call at the end as well, and she get, hello, Shenley's estate agents. No, he's not here at the moment. Oh, I don't know when he's going to be back. In fact, I don't think he's going to be back. Oh well, goodbye then. And then grabs this necklace, and then you get this, the end theme. In this playlist, I was playing the score to this particular episode, Rude Awakening, which is by a fella called Paul Patterson. The main titles, beginning and end titles, are done by Roger Webb, Scouser Roger Webb. But the individual episodes had their own scores composed uniquely for them. Now, this episode, Rude Awakening, I love it because it's a truly nightmarish scenario. It's utterly illogical. Is he having a breakdown? Is it his guilt? There's a way of doing this where there's kind of this whole Friday the 13th thing, which they obviously use that because it's an ominous day, but also 1980, at this particular time, Friday the 13th was suddenly hitting, cinemas and home video. That was huge. So you just put that in there, I suppose. But I think it could work in reverse, because if he killed her on Friday the 13th and he's been having these dreams ever since, and her body's still there, or he's disposed of the body, it's his guilt working on him. But as it transpires at the end, when it's not a dream and he thinks it is, it genuinely is Friday the 13th, and he has killed her that morning. So all these dreams were in the lead up to him doing that. So what is it? Precognition? What is it? Premonition? It's not explained. It doesn't need to be explained. In the space of with adverts, it'd be 45 minutes, something like that back in the day, 45-minute episode. But they cram a lot into it. You've got several journeys to this ghostly, weird mansion house, whose name I can't remember, and lots of different things happen each time he goes. And you've got this Rayburn character that keeps reappearing, and the whole sort of the grimy, sleazy affair he's having with Lolly, and also the horrible way he treats Emily. And she's wonderful, because does he actually wake up from any of these dreams, or is it one long continuous dream and then only at the end is he awake? You could even argue that, well, maybe the end of it's a fucking dream as well, and it could well be, except for one thing, that we do see Rayburn and Lolly without him. The entire rest of the show and the story is told from Norman's point of view. Mr. Shenley, all told from his point of view. Nobody else has their own little bits. He wakes up to the weird appointment and sees his wife on the phone, or rather hears her on the phone, and then feigns being asleep again. The whole thing could be nothing but a dream within a dream within a dream. And that's why I think this particular episode works so well. It's a true nightmare scenario. You don't know what's real and what isn't. And you put yourself in Norman's shoes. Sleazy old fucker that he is. But then again, I'm a sleazy old fucker myself, so I totally understand where he's coming from. Especially with Lolly. Oh dear. Lucy Gutteridge. She, again, probably did a lot of things at that time, but I don't really remember anything else that she's been in. But she's great. I should say, James Laurenson, yeah, the Shadmock from the Monster Club, like based on the short stories, collected short stories of Ronald Chetwynd Hayes, which is behind me here, starring Vincent Price and David Carradine, John Carradine, not David Carradine, and a host of other, horror stars and great actors. It's not a good film though. I know a lot of people fondly remember it. I've got it on Blu-ray, and I watch it, but mostly it's crap. It's about being introduced to a nightclub in London, which is full of monsters, and and you only get told 3 stories, but you've got these little interludes, and there's 70s and early 80s rock stuff and pop music playing in the background, bands playing. B.A. Robertson is there, but and you get a stripper who takes all the skin off down to the bone, which is pretty cool. And but the stories themselves are crap, apart from the Stuart Whitman one with a village, a ghostly lost village, which is run by ghouls, and that is supremely creepy, that one. But James Laurenson is in a story called The Shadmock, and he's a pale, weird creature living in a bloody mansion house, falls in love with this girl, but then she can't, give that love back to him. So he has a whistle, not like a bosun's whistle. He can, like a banshee, he can make a noise it can kill people basically and drive them insane. So, and he's a tragic figure. He doesn't want to do this, but he ends up doing it out of like torment and tragedy. So, the Shadmock, and but it's James Laurenson plays the Shadrock, and he's got one of these super malleable faces, and they paste him up in that with like white makeup and a bit of sort of pale purple sort of lipstick on him and eyeshadow, and he looks really bizarre. One of my favourite B-movie actors, as many of you guys will know because I've covered his stuff before, is Christopher George. I love Christopher George's stuff, and James Laurenson has a look of Christopher George, but he's almost like the how can I put this? The uglier brother. That sounds terrible, but he has a look of Christopher George, but he's not a good-looking fella. It says this bag of elbows here, but he's not. So when you see him in this, you see him as the tramp, or as the guy that comes in to sell the place, as the surgeon, as the guy that's hanging, Norman, and then the police detective at the end. You can't trust his face at all. It does things. His face seems to have bits in the wrong places, bushy eyebrows, and like he might smile and try to be pleasant, but I remember as a kid he freaked me out in this episode. His face just stayed with me, and then of course obviously I saw Monster Squad. Wolfman's got nards. Sorry, I'm not plugging someone else's YouTube channel there. Ain't doing that. No one does it for me, so I ain't doing it for anyone else. What? Oh yeah, I just did, didn't I? Damn it. But not Monster Squad the movie, the Monster Club. And with his freakish makeup and that, but he's in many other TV shows and stuff. He was a familiar face, but it's just a bit of a weird face at the same time. So you get a bit of nipples in this. You get 2 walking suits of armour, Scooby-Doo style. You get a bit of dumb waiter. You get this strange and twacky sort of like, hello, hello, hello. You shouldn't have done it, Mr. Shenley. Oh, I should say there's another... When there's phone calls in this, and you do get these phone calls in the office and home and all that, like, and you pick up the phone and he's talking to someone, like for example when he speaks to Emily, and to try and like, I'll be home late tonight, don't wait up for me, I've got another night viewing, whatever the hell his bullshit story is. You hear Emily or Pat Heywood is clearly in the same room but talking like under a desk. So when you hear her voice down the phone, but she's in the room as well. This is how they used to do things, so they get the dialogue. You won't have to cut away and all this. It's just dead simple, dead simple and streamlined. So he speaks, then she speaks. He's in the fucking room. Yeah. And it's dead obvious as well. Like, in Hammer movies, the day for night shooting is always atrocious. It's so bad that we all now expect it and love it. Now, in this, you don't get that. There's, I'm trying to think now, is there any sequences at night? I don't think there is. It's always at daytime. When he arrives at the house, whether it's there or it's not there, the phone booth, walking to and from the estate agents, it's always daytime. So you get none of that clumsy sort of weird blue tinted sort of but strong sun shadows, but blue tinted limbo twilight zone. You don't get any of that in this. But Denholm Elliott is brilliant. Pat Heywood is brilliant. Lucy Gutteridge is brilliant. James Laurenson is brilliant. They're all brilliant. That woman, Eleanor Summerfield, Lady Strudwick. Tea, Mr. Shenley. You know, like, oh, dreams, Mr. Shenley. Oh, do tell. You know, she's great. There's a very sinister sort of aura to it, because after the first sequence, you kind of know you can't trust anything that's going to happen to him. It's going to be a dream. It's going to be nasty. Each set piece is going to end badly for him, which it always does, obviously. And so you're expecting it, and it works. So you've got this sort of creeping sort of sense of unease, but you're also loving it. See, because he's such a lecherous old git, and he's so horrible to Emily, who's clearly loves him and puts up with so much. God, that rings a bell. And she is lovely. You know, it's just so wrong. Just give me a divorce, will you? You know, a divorce. What do you want a divorce for? Oh, I'll go make breakfast and we'll talk about a divorce later. It's just brilliant. I love it. I think it's a really great episode. It's not gory, apart from that you think you're going to get some brain operation that doesn't take place, obviously, because this stupid fucker dies in his dream. And the thing is, as it goes on, and part of the fun, even when you were a kid, if you were well versed in horror movies and reading horror stories, you weren't naive as to fall for what happens in this. Like, for that surgery sequence, you know damn well that those three. I mean, okay, if you look, you can see it's clearly them. You can see their eyes. They've got the masks on and all the gowns and all that, and the hoods, whatever you call them. But when they pull the masks down and it's their faces, and it's got that leering sort of fishbowl close-up, so they're even more enhanced, more leering, you know, with their big grins. You knew that was coming. Even as a kid, you knew that was coming. But it doesn't lessen the effect. It's still creepy as all hell. And he's like, bastards. So when he wakes up, he's like, oh, fuck it, that's it. Yes, I've had another fucking nightmare. But you're the nightmare, and I'm going to put an end to him now. Where's that bloody pillow? Choke on this, bitch. You know. God. And it's great seeing Denholm Elliott in this kind of role. Like, he's played officious people, priests, soldiers, usually generals, colonels, majors, lieutenant colonels in Zulu Dawn, or butlers, footmen. He's in a private function. He's in, oh God, what else? I wrote a few down. Oh, he's in Robin and Marion. He plays Will Scarlett in the great Robin and Marion, which is Sean Connery and Audrey Hepburn, and Catherine Hepburn, Audrey Hepburn, one of the Hepburns anyway. And it's a wonderful, wonderful movie, because they're all old doing it, like, and it's the end. Robert Shaw's in that as well, and playing like he's basically the Black Knight, basically, and they have a big fight at the end. But Connery is still sprightly, although he's playing to his age. You know, he's balding for real. You know, not wearing a toupee this time. But Denholm Elliott plays Will Scarlett, so they're all old guys doing this, playing the merry band, the merry man. It's wonderful. The writer of this is Gerald Savory. Now, Gerald Savory, the only other credit I know for him, he wrote the Louis Jourdan BBC two-parter for Count Dracula in the late 70s, which Dracula fans, we all love that. It's brilliant. It's only dated by, well, a bit of a sedate sort of pace. It's a bit talky, but it's got very early and really sort of ramshackle old video effects, warped out sort of fuzzy effects and sort of heightened colours, and then black and white and greys. It's all like, it's kind of sick making, to be honest. It's not very effective, but it's a great version of Dracula. It's a really, really brilliant version. Louis Jourdan is outstanding as Dracula. Articulate, interesting, charming, irresistible, and satanic as well. So Gerald Savey wrote that and then did this. Other things too, although I'm not sure what. Sazdy, who directed this, did 13th Reunion, which I've already discussed, and Vista from the Grave. We did Hands of the Ripper as well, and Taste of Blood of Dracula, and Welcome to Blood City, which is not a Hammer movie, but he's one of Hammer's luminaries, and not the greatest, but workmanlike, and delivers the goods. And certainly with this, it's a good 45 minutes of absolute fun and hinted at debauchery, and this encroaching nightmarish scenario which doesn't let go. It just, you're not sure, like American Werewolf, you know, he wakes up in bed like his family's just been massacred, you know, David Norton, you know, David Kessler, and Jenny Agutter's there. Imagine waking up to Jenny Agutter. Oh my god. Well, I'd rather go to bed with it in the first place. It'd be nice to wake up the next morning with it, but you know, anyway. and he goes, oh, I've just had a nightmare. He's like, don't worry, I've got just a thing. And she opens the curtains in the hospital room, and like the warmonger werewolf is there, that nightmare demon with a knife. And he's like, no, Alex, like that. So it's a double dream, a double nightmare. And he wakes up again and he just goes, holy shit. Well, that is just a dream within one dream. This is about 5 or 6 dreams all linked together. The only bit of supposedly lucid consciousness is the very end. So the rest of it, it's just pure nightmare realm. But it's fun at the same time. And this is the great thing about Hammer House of Horror. They did some really creepy, frightening ones. Again, you may have known where they were going. Like my favourite, Children of the Full Moon with the Iron Doors and Christopher Cazenove. It's outstanding. It's their only werewolf story. Hammer only did 2 werewolf stories at all, which is Children of the Full Moon and of course Curse of the Werewolf with Ollie Reed. But it's brilliant. It's scary. It's eerie. It's got a sense of momentum to it, and I fucking love it. And I reviewed that a good few years ago. I should revisit it again actually and do another review for it. But the 13th Reunion is one that I covered like last week, and that is weird. It's a great fun, creepy, weird, jolty sort of story. Again, you can guess certain elements to who's involved. Everyone's involved basically. You can guess who's going to die. But it's what the title's about. The entire show is structured so that you keep, the first time you watch it, you're like, yeah, there's people going missing and there's stuff happening, but where's this 13th reunion? What the hell's that about? They withhold that until the very end, and that's brilliant. That keeps you scratching your head the first time you've seen it. And this, I think, I think you'd have to be really monumentally naive not to realise it's doomed for him. He's going to lose out at the end. And this is all a big build-up. It keeps happening and happening and happening again. But I think they give that false conclusion, that false finale, where he's the botched operation, or the operation never actually happened. What's up?
I think the microwave Lucy's back wants it in it. So.
Oh, just take it down, take it down. See, if it's not the cat, it's other family members getting in the way. Because you think that could actually be the best payoff at all. You know, he's there, he's awake, but he's apparently died on the operating table, and they all pull their masks down. That'd be a very Twilight Zone, very Outer Limits sort of Rod Serling sort of ending, a Ray Bradbury sort of ending. And he's like, he's dead, but he's still conscious and he can still see his persecutors, and they're all like laughing at him, That it could have ended there, and it would have worked. It would still have had quite a lot of power and resonance. But it goes on, and he does get arrested for the whole. He has killed his wife. As I said earlier, the whole thing could work the other way around. He could have killed her date. I think it would work better that way. Just my personal opinion. He could have killed her at the start, although you don't know that. And then, yeah, you killed her on Friday the 13th because her body is like several days old, you know, and we know you did it, blah, blah, blah. And then he's had all these dreams afterwards as the big guilt trip. I don't know. Anyway, the microwave's humming away merrily there. The kitchen staff, they're outside having a picnic. You know, I give them too much time off, I really do. And so far too lenient. Where's my whip? Oh, it's in the bedroom. Oops. So, I do recommend this. I think it's a great episode again. The entire TV show, there's a couple of clunkers in there, I'll be honest, but they've all got something. The thing about Hammer, the Hammer movies, Hammer TV episodes in this series, even when Hammer's at its absolute lowest and they're not particularly effective, there's a lot of films, like people don't like Scars of Dracula, which is coming out in a big 4K lustrous special edition, and I'm going to get it. I hope to get it anyway. It's not a good film. It's not a good Dracula story. But then again, how many of Hammer's Draculas in the movies were any good? The first two were excellent. I know there's people out there, 4D and David Hookvale. I know you guys love Dracula AD 1972. I know you do. I know you do. It's not a good film. But what does it matter when I think? There's still loads of elements in it which I love, and I watch it. I've reviewed it. I'm sure I've reviewed it actually. So when Hammer has a misstep, a misfire, there's still enough quality. In the early ones, it'll be the gothic sets, it'll be some of the acting. If you've got Peter Cushing in there, Christopher Lee in there. Whoa, Christopher Lee. Jesus Christ, how did you do that? Well, Christopher Lee was a rock star. He was a Nazi hunter. He was a spy. He did double agent. He did everything. Did everything. Deep sea fisherman. A cosmonaut. Christopher Lee did do a lot of things. He didn't do half the fucking things he made out he did. Christopher Lee was the best person to sell himself, and with that voice, that austere voice of authority, you wouldn't argue with him, I fucking would. Half the things he said he didn't fucking do, but still love him anyway. His movies are great, and he can often be the one superstar attraction of a really shit movie. And I'm thinking a lot about the Euro horrors he made, some of which were really, really naff. But he still gave presence and commanding authority and a great performance to them. But Peter Cushing was the better actor. I've said it before, and I'll take that to the grave and beyond when I finally meet up with him. And I'll be sitting there, Peter Cushing, Vincent Price, Christopher Lee, Lon Chaney Jr. Lon Chaney Sr. might be there as well, possibly, I don't know. Boris Karloff, Bela Lugosi. And I'll be like, and they'll be going, Kilt-Man, yes! Yeah. You think you had nightmares when you were alive? Whoa! You didn't go up there, you came down here with us. But I would tell Christopher Lee to his face, you are fucking great. Peter, props Peter, is better than you. Oh, I'm having a bit of fun. But as I say, even when Hammer drops the ball, there's enough to enjoy. Even in the likes of To the Devil a Daughter, which is bloody awful. Natasha Kinski, underage. Natasha Kinski, Stuart Widmark. It's a badly broken movie. It's a really naff adaptation of the novel itself, and it shouldn't work. It doesn't work. But there's enough to enjoy. There's enough presence and command to it. It looks great in the scenes that actually genuinely work. But then you got like Captain Kronos, often cited as being an absolute misfire. Well, you guys know how much I love that movie. I adore that movie. It's fantastic. Horst Janssen, Caroline Munro. Oh, it is John Carter. John Carson. John Carson was on Mars, wasn't he? It's an outstanding film. Frankenstein and the Monsters from Hell. If you compare the Dracula series that Hammer did movie-wise to the Frankenstein series, the Frankenstein series far outstrips Dracula in every way. Production value, story, colour, verve, atmosphere, acting. They're so much better. There's only one out the Frankenstein series which I don't like, and I really don't like, but it's got elements which are okay, and that's Horror of Frankenstein. Dave Prowse in a fucking nappy. Ralph Bates. It's a really bad film, but it's watchable because you can take the piss out of it, and it looks good. Apart from the nappy, obviously. But all the other Frankenstein movies tell a different story. Even the one that everyone loves to hate, Evil of Frankenstein, which is a pure and utter throwback to the Universal movies. It's fast, it's throwaway. There's tons and tons of action and chaos and all sorts of stuff going on. You know, Kiwi Kingston as the monster. It's with a big fucking fat flat head. It's amazing. I love that. I think I've reviewed that as well. I think I have. But the TV show, which is what we're focusing on here, every episode's got something which is worthwhile. There's some I don't like. I know when I did the previous one for the 13's reunion, I think a couple of people got on and said one of their favourites was Carpathian Eagle with Suzanne Danielle. Well, it's a not proto. It went into the giallo sort of genre, stalk and slash, but you knew exactly who the killer was. So right from the way it go. And the whole Carpathian Eagle thing was just a complete misnomer, which again is giallo, red herrings. And but you got a young Pierce Brosnan getting sliced up. You got Anthony Valentine, Suzanne Danielle. I've said her name twice because it's worth repeating. And she's great in it. But to me, it's really humdrum, and I'm not excited by it at all. But I may cover it at some point, although does it really seem worth it now? I haven't just dissed it. But as I say, there's elements which you like about it. Hammer could drop the ball with a plot, a few scenarios, some shoddy effects, whatever, day for night stuff. But they make up for it with the actors and a bit of eye candy. Nothing wrong with that. There's nothing wrong with that. You can't say that in this day and age. That's Kilt-Man. That's sexist. That's, misogynist. Yeah, hello. Have you met me before? Yeah. I loves the ladies I does. I loves them. And if they save a show or a film or a TV episode just by being glamorous, hats off. Bottoms up. So you're actually hearing the music to Rude Awakening right now by Paul Patterson. Fucking hell. Come back, Peter. Come back, Paul. Yeah. Folks, Halloween doth approach quite swiftly. We're now on the 8th of October. So got a few more weeks to go through, but we're going to go really into horror big time. I'm going to try to do nothing that's not horror related. Let's see how that goes. But in the meantime, please catch this episode. A lot of you have got probably the DVD. There's a Blu-ray of it as well now. I'm not sure if I actually think I've got the Blu-ray box set. Although each time I do one of these videos with this, I cannot find it. If I've got it, I can't find it. It doesn't look like that. It's much more colourful. The box set. You'd think I'd find that pretty easy. But in this place, you've got to be joking, haven't you? The Spook Mansion. Everything I want and need to do a video, that goes missing. It's been there for years in the same place, untouched for years and years and years. When I come to get it, where'd that go? I start stalking around, going from room to room and room to room, and I'm looking under the bed and looking all over the place. And Mrs. Kilt-Man goes, "What are you looking for?" And I always go like, "Well, what does it matter?" And she goes, "No, maybe I can help you." And then I go, "Oh, it's the Blu-ray box set of Hammer House of Horror." And then she'll say something like, Well, I haven't touched it. I never fucking said you did. You know, you demanded I told you, what I'm looking for, and you haven't given me any help at all. Well, I didn't touch it. The kids haven't touched it. Oh, fuck off then. About this divorce. Where's that pillow? I put it on my own face. Oh, God. You shouldn't have killed her, Mr. Shanley. You shouldn't have killed your wife. Folks, I have been always trying to kill man. Please, in the meantime, it's ever like, endless Friday the 13th, sort of dream within a dream within a dream within a dream. In between time, please keep it Celtic, keep it Celtic. Gonna see you all. Leaders. Hopefully not disturbed by felines or females, or especially feline females. My life is driven by